We're going to talk all about leg ropes. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Rod here, Jetboard Australia. Subject that I get asked about all the time. Guys with jet surfs, and especially guys in Australia with jet surfs, we use them in the surf more so than the flat water, is leg ropes and what we use, where we fit them, and what's the benefits. So easiest thing to talk about leg ropes is, like, if you're in the surf, and I've had it happen myself without a leg rope, you have a fall, you lose the board. Hanging onto the handle is okay to a certain extent, but I find in big surf, what you can damage the cord here, and it can get pulled out of the board. And I have had that almost happen in a big wave there many years ago, where I had a big tumble, held onto the throttle, and yeah, it almost stretched the rope to the point it pulled it. And what can happen then, if that breaks, then you can pull the accelerator cord tight, and that actually accelerates the board. It can shoot off, and that's happened back in the jet ski days at SeaWorld. Actually, they broke a handlebar, the throttle jammed, and the actual jet ski ended up in the crowd. So same sort of scenario can happen with this. So my suggestion is, big wave stuff, let the handle go. Never, never, never put your leg rope onto the handle control at all. It's a pretty sensitive device. The magnet in there has some cabling through to the engine, obviously, which is fairly sensitive. If it gets pulled or jerked, it can break, and then it can start and stop intermittently, which is not ideal, especially when you're in the surf. So look after that hand control. So what we suggest is, obviously, put the leg rope on the board. Now, there's a couple of options we do. This particular board's mine. It's the Cruiser DFI. And if you haven't tried one of these, seriously, these are the best board in the surf. Reason being, it's got the titanium underneath, it's got the narrow tail, raised top end, and it really handles beautifully in the waves. Also has the intake scoop, which helps you lift water into the intake cavity, which is great in rough surfy type conditions and churned up frothy water. So yeah, these things are great. And of course the alternator, I can take it on camping trips, out the back of nowhere, no 240 power, and it runs itself. So they're gold. Now I've done a binding upgrade on this particular board. So I've put the race ratchet bindings with the heel up bases and the swivel carbon fiber bottoms. So basically that locks me into the board, makes it more secure for me to do stupid stuff in the waves and pull it off without your foot coming out. So the advantage with that setup over the original dual binding setup they have is, gives me a location where I can put my leg rope. So what I generally do is, just through the bracket on the swivel base, I drill an extra hole through the bottom and then tie my leg rope with a little reef knot in through there, and that does the job. That's one way we do it. The other way is, some people will put it on the handle at the front and then put it on their front leg. In this case, obviously, this goes on my rear leg. And sometimes they'll even put it on their wrist or arm. I'm not a big fan of that. If you're going to go over a big wave, generally what you do, you dive deep, you go under the wave, the board's got to come back through the wave it goes over. So you want to have a good pull on your leg, not your arm or wrist, because there's quite a bit of force. You can imagine this board getting pulled back through a wave when you're on the other side of it. So you want it on a good solid position. But we'll get to that in a minute as far as positions goes, because there's some places you wouldn't want to put it. So anyway, as far as the leg ropes go, we use nice short ones. I've got one there, and I've got another one here that I can show you. And the reason we use shorter leg ropes is you don't want the jet pump getting caught up in the leg rope. So you can imagine, if you've got a long leg rope and you get it wrapped around the board, it goes under and then gets sucked up into the jet. And then of course, once that gets tangled up in the impeller, that becomes a drama. And I've been there again in my jet ski days, caught up with leg ropes in the jet pump. In fact, tow ropes it was in that particular case. So anyway, what we need to do is, boogie board style, shorter type leg ropes are the best. And the best mounting points I find, if you've got, of course, your carbon fiber swivel bases, just drill an extra hole in the base plate, goes through the slot in the top plate, good reef knot on that, so I can remove that, and if I'm just using it in shallow water or fresh water, small waves when I don't need it, and then tie it back on again when I jump in the big surf. The other option is, and this is probably the better idea, and the reason I say that is some of our customers make up this base plate, and the base plate's designed to actually bolt under the binding. So what I'll do, I'll just change the camera over and we'll put you onto this board here, and I'll show you exactly how that works. Okay, so here we are. This is a race DFI, but all the binding setups in the back of all the boards are very similar. So what we've done here, we've made up for a customer. We've used a more heavy-duty rope here. This guy goes a bit crazy in the surf, and we've made up a stainless steel base plate with a locking point, or I guess a tide point for the leg rope. So the idea with that is it spreads the load of the leg rope over all the positions where the binders bolt down. The concern is, and I've seen customers do it, they'll put a leg rope binding on a single bolt that holds the bindings down. Now, these have a captive nut, which is carbon fiber glued into the bottom of the board, and it wouldn't take a lot of force to tear that out of the board. And that's, that's an issue to try and fix, and a real drama as far as your board as far as structure goes. So don't use these in an individual form. So what we've done is we're trying to spread the load over a better area. So what we'll do is we'll remove the binding. I've got this one loose, prepared that one earlier. And we'll put this plate, and these two screws there, we'll remove those screws. We'll put that plate there, line it up with all the holes that hold the bindings down, which spread the load over 6 points rather than 4. So there's no chance that that's going to tear out, and especially then it's sandwiched down by the binding like that, and that leg rope bracket's not going anywhere. You know, you can do some really dumb stuff and that's not going to tear anything out of the board. So that's a good idea as well. It's a bit more mucking around, but it can be done. Just to put it onto one of these mounting points, as I said, just isn't strong enough. I'm not a big fan of putting on the handle. People do it, and it's relatively strong, but if you want the strongest way to mount a leg rope, that's what we do. And, you know, if you're handy enough, you can make that up yourself. I've got a couple of guys that can do that. I haven't got any costs or anything on that, but that's just an idea for people. But to give you an idea on leg rope stuff. Okay, well, I hope that gave you a better idea. A couple of ideas on what we do with leg ropes. I think they're a bit of a must as far as surf riding goes. Listen, if you're in small waves and you know, like, you know, waist high, and you fall and you hold the handle, I think that's fine. But in big surf, and you've had a big tumble, the board's going to get ripped out of your hand. It's going to end up on the beach. You're out the back in a rip. I wear a life jacket. I'm hoping you guys do as well. That certainly helps. But if you've got a leg rope on, the board's nearby, you can jump back on it, and you can always guarantee you're going to have a fall in the impact zone. So if you've got the board with you, you can get it fired up, get back on it, and get yourself out of trouble. So anyway, I hope that's been helpful. If anyone's got some better ideas, by all means, put them in the comments and give me a holler. That'd be great. Talk to you next time. Bye.